because we are not radically living our lives in sacrifice for his word. And as a result, we are constantly seeing, hearing prophetically, you're going to see over the next 6 to 8 months, God is cleansing his church so that we will walk without spot or wrinkle. God is cleansing his church because he's tired of flesh and lies. Oh, I believe John says they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Y'all come here and preach tonight. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. The opposite, James, of spirit and truth is flesh and lies. Is it possible that we have missed the spirit and the truth because we're too busy meddling in flesh and lies? And as a result, we don't understand how to walk into our new place because we still have that mindset. Nobody will know. Well, I come to tell you, he knows the hairs on your head. I got a message for Facebook tonight. I got a message for YouTube tonight. You can run, but you can't hide. And sooner than you think, the things you do in the dark will come to light. If there are witnesses in the house, somebody say it. The parable of the seed teaches us the destined greatness of the kingdom. And although it looks insignificant, its greatness will be apparent. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that the mere fact that you have the seed thank you, Lord, is evidence that you can be promoted. The mere fact that you already profess to believe is enough for you to receive all that God has for you. The reason being is because if the seed, in fact, is given, and we have a command to sow it, we then have the responsibility to receive a blessing that we ourselves cannot have room enough to receive, because we trust God even when we cannot trace it. We have the ability to receive the supernatural provision and blessings of God because we have stepped out on faith and said that we have a relationship with him. And thereby we are required to receive all that he has destined for our lives. I want you to understand tonight that God is a God of multiplication. And if God is a God of multiplication, you too can be multiplied. If God is a God of multiplication, you too can receive all that he has destined for your life. If God is a God of multiplication, it means he wants to take you from where you are to where he desires you to be. If God is a God of multiplication, that means he desires us to stand and be all that he has destined us to be from the foundations of the world. One writer said it like this: life is lived forward, but it's better understood backwards. Life is lived forward, but it's better understood backwards. Why? Because when we live in forward function, we ourselves cannot see what God is up to. But once we encounter a test and we receive a testimony, we can look back over our lives and see how the Lord has made a way. I wonder if there's someone here tonight who you yourself might have been forward living, but when you look back, you can say, if it had not been the next dimension of relationship with him. That's why the thing you were going through before you got here tonight was not the devil, it is God. Because God is trying to position us for something that is bigger than ourselves. Notice Hebrews continues to say, therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom which cannot be shaken, let us have grace by which we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear. For our God is a consuming fire. He has not only shaken the earth, but shaken the heaven. You must understand that the heavens are being opened over your life. And since the heavens are being opened over your life, that simply means that supernatural is on the agenda. I'm going to say it again. If the heavens are being opened over your life, it means that supernatural is on the agenda. This is not casual time, but this is a moment set up by the sovereign God to prepare us for what is coming. Because I believe that we are literally in a moment and a time that is so critical. What we do in the next 18 months will shape the next 20 years of society. How the church postures itself as the fathers continue to exit. They say over the next 5 years, 50% of American pulpits will be changed. Because it means that either the fathers will transition on to heaven or they themselves will pass the baton to someone else. I'm not concerned about the mantle. I'm not concerned about the baton. I'm concerned about this generation. Because what would the Bible look like if we read it in Acts chapter 1 and it says as he ascended up, there were no 12 to take his place? What would the Bible look like if it says, and Paul, who I lay my hands on, but there's no Timothy there right next to Paul? What would the Bible look like if Elijah was getting ready to go up, but there was nobody ready to receive the double portion? I come to stir up your faith today to understand that there are some mantles God wants to place on you. There's some stuff God wants to do to you. There's some things God wants to give you. But you've got to position yourself to be ready to receive it. You've got to position yourself to receive all that God destines for your life. Is there a witness in the house tonight? Is there a witness in the house tonight? I'm getting ready to close here. I want you to understand something. There is a price for promotion. And we must position ourselves for this next move of God. And that means that my mindset has to change. My heart must be stretched. I must make a conscious decision to position myself and be ready for what he has prepared for me. Because if I am not in the right position, there will be someone